Hey hockey fans, Christina here with another episode of Storm TV, and I'm joined by head coach Kevin HIgo. Kevin, we are at the quarter mark right now, 15 games into the season.
Yep.
Talk to me about how things are progressing. I mean, it's not really where you want to be right now, but...
Yeah, it's 15 games is the quarter mark of the season, seeing that we play 60. Obviously, the wins and loss, we're not where we want to be. But there's other areas of the game that, and the makeup of the organization, we're real happy with where we're at. A couple of the areas that we talked about right from day one was improving our involvement in the community, but we can talk about that a little bit later. With regards to the 15 games, you know, we've played a lot of close games. Injury-wise, I mean, we've lost 35 man games through 9 players to injury. So when we looked at it today, and Dennis and I met, and we looked over our roster and our game-by-game schedule. From our makeup, we've dressed our A lineup, or our number 1 lineup, twice, and that was in game number 1 and game number 3. And injuries are a part of hockey and a part of the game, and it's not an excuse; it's just reality. Those 2 games that we did have we would consider our A lineup was game number 1, which we lost in overtime, and game number 3, which we lost 4-2 to Bonnyville. So even though the record doesn't show it, we see some progress, and we like where our guys are going. But we just need to start getting some more success on the ice.
Now, about those injuries, do you have any updates for us about when guys are coming back? Or?
Yeah, like we've got the 6 guys out that are with lengthy injuries. Tristan Crozier, Dallas Como, and Austin Parmenter are all lengthy, probably 2, maybe 3 more weeks with upper body injuries. Chase Bell and Matt Halverson are out with the concussions. And those are a real delicate situation of when they're back. They haven't even been cleared for activity yet, which usually means they're at least probably 10 days away. And then Frankie Sullivan has the broken finger, and we just heard from the doctor the other day that he's going to try and skate on Monday if he can get his finger into a glove and Dave can tape it up and protect it. There's a chance we might see him next week.
Now, obviously, injuries aren't something you want to see in your team, because a lot of the guys that are injured right now, I mean, they're pretty big names for the Storm. So, but it's also a good opportunity for you guys to bring in those local players and, you know, give them the opportunity. So, I mean, how do you make that work?
Well, I mean, we've been fortunate to have a real good affiliation base, and through the local GPAC team and some other teams. It's a fine line of when to bring guys in, just for the fact that they're playing and their games are important too. So that's been a bit of a balance, but you know, one of the things we wanted to do with the organization is get more Grand Prairie kids into it. At this point in time last year, we had 1 local kid. I think at the end of the year last year, we probably had man games from our locals, maybe 20, if we were lucky at the end of the year. This year we've got 4 or 5 locals playing for us on a regular basis, plus the affiliation guys. So we've taken definite strides that way too.
Talking about your roster, Kevin, have you got it finalized to where you want to be? I know you've made some releases in the last couple of days, and you made a couple of trades, so talk to me about the roster.
No, the roster as part of junior hockey, it'll fluctuate on and off, up and down, left and right for the next while here. The injuries are definitely basing some of the moves. We need to get some bodies in. And then with that, there's the carding issue. So, I mean, with that, we're only allowed to have 25 guys carded at a time, and with us having 6 guys out with injuries, those guys eat up one of those spots each of the 25. So really on a daily basis, we can only dress 19 guys without bringing in an affiliate player. So that's where we're at with that. So you're going to see more trades, and then obviously once we get healthy, then we're going to have too many bodies, and we'd like to get back down to the 22 mark for our roster. So there'll be more changes as we go along here.
Now, with those trades, I mean, you're kind of expanding your horizons. You know, you're trading with the Maritime Junior League, and you know, you're everywhere now. So, like, what goes into this decision in a trade? Like, how do you decide who stays, who goes?
Well, some of it's based on what we need. Some of it's based on what's available. And again, one of the things that we tried to do was expand the horizons of where the Grand Prairie Storm are bringing players in. It's become so competitive in Alberta and the AJHL to bring players in. That's why you're seeing a lot of Americans, kids from Ontario, you know, Maritime kids from all over the place. So it's important to stay in touch with your connections, your people that you trust. So for us, it's you know, we need bodies, and with us having 4 forwards out, that brought the need for the moves that we did this week. to bring in 2 forwards, and we wanted to make sure we're staying with our 3-year plan. And that was bringing in guys that are going to be here long term and guys that are going to help us not only now but in the future.
You are into year 2 of that 3-year plan right now. I mean, obviously what's happening on the scoreboard is not really a reflection of how well that plan is actually going. I mean, there's a lot of things that are going on behind the scenes that the Storm is doing, and they're working really hard on. So why don't you talk to us about that?
Yeah, and again, that was, you know, with regards to the locals, I mean, at this point in time last year, I think we had Kyle Lipinski in our lineup, and that was it from a local standpoint. He was a 20-year-old. And then later on in the year, we added Sheldon Hubbard. Sheldon got hurt and wasn't able to play all the games after we required him. So that was one of the mandates, is we wanted to get involved with more local kids. You know, last year we tried to get that going, and it's a process for sure. You know, this year with us having the local kids in the lineup with Carter Wolski and Cruz Cote and Landon Volman and Talon Kramer, there's 4 right there. They're all playing on a regular basis, and then us having the GPAC guys out as affiliation. The other thing that we've done this year that, I mean, we're only 15 games into the season, and we've already had, I believe it's 6 or 7 GPAC kids out for practices. Usually the AAA team practices on Tuesday and Thursday. They come out on Wednesdays with us. You know, other things that we're doing, we wanted to get more involved in the community. We started the skating school. It's been great. I mean, we have 75 plus kids out. Our guys are out there on a daily basis of 3-4 Storm players out there. Dennis and myself are running the GPAC development ice on Wednesdays. So those are areas that we're getting farther into. We wanted to expand our scouting. We've added scouts this year. We've created some connections in not only in Ontario but in the States that are helping grow. So those are areas that we're real happy with the progression of the organization and getting us going. And you know, we're setting ourselves up for success, and again, that's one of those things, or a couple of those things, that doesn't show on the scoreboard, but it's definitely improving on the backside.
What I really like is that you're seeing a lot more people in the seats than in previous years, which is awesome to see, because you guys are really making that effort to get into the community. I've seen you at the mall, you've been to schools, you've been to my classroom, thanks for coming. So, I mean, you're making those connections, and people are really getting to know the players and the names. I mean, how does that help you guys with their motivation too? Well,
it's all part of them being part of the community, and obviously all these guys come to Grand Prairie, and Grand Prairie's home for them for the hockey season, and we want to be involved in that. We want to do whatever we can. I mean, we've got some more stuff planned, but even with that, I mean, if people are looking to get our kids involved with whatever program they have, or school or whatever, I mean, they can just give the office a call, and we have a group of guys that are available on a regular basis. And you know, maybe that's something that people don't realize too. Our guys' schedule is a pretty busy schedule. I think we have 9-10 guys that are working on a full-time basis daily. We have 4 or 5 guys that are going to high school. We have 2 or 3 guys that are going to college. So we don't have the guys available all the time, but it's usually a point where the guys, you know, they're teenage kids. They, do I really have to do this? And they get there and they love it. And, you know, Sunday is another example. They'll be out for the skate here with the event here at Revolution Place. We'll have some guys at Pizza 73. So they're busy on a regular basis, but that's giving back to the community, and that's good for us.
I really like the balance that you have, and you mentioned that all these guys are in school and that they are teenagers, and I really appreciate that you're putting the importance on education. Because I mean, the reality is, I mean, how many kids are actually going to make it to the top? Sure. And you're showing them the importance of the other side of things, but still making them awesome hockey players, and that is fantastic. So good on the Storm for that. A couple of long road stretches in the next couple of quarters here. So talk to us how your team's going to manage that.
Well, I think that's why this is good right now for us. It's we've broken the season down into 5-game segments for the players, but also 15-game segments for evaluation of the team. So when we get to the 15-game mark, we've sat down as an organization and talked about where we're at. Besides the record, we like where we're going, the direction we're going. So now we've got another 15-game mark. And with regards to the standings, the schedule, all that kind of stuff, it's going to be a real hectic month of November and December for us. I believe we play 12 in the month of November, and we go on 3 lengthy road trips where we're back to back to the building here. But with that, what we're calling the month of November is moving month, where it's gonna move us up in the standings, and we see it as an opportunity with us, with the amount of games, who we're playing. With our lineup getting healthy again, that the month of November is going to be huge for us. Now, with that being said, we've got some challenges there for sure. We go for a 4 or 5-day trip, and then we get right back, and the next thing you know, we're going to Fort McMurray. So I believe it's 8 games in a row on the road, 3 weekends in a row on the road. So that'll be a challenge, but we knew that coming in from day one. It's not like it's surprising us, and we've been prepared for it. It doesn't matter if we're at home or on the road. It's the month of November, and the next couple of games are going to be real important for us to get points.
So like traveling, I know like it sucks the life right out of you, and I mean I can't imagine spending that much time on a bus. I mean, how do you kind of like mentally prepare the guys to, you know, carry on forward?
It's not as bad as it seems, because as long as they have their phone, as long as they have their tablet, as long as they have their computer, they're pretty tied in. And we've actually found with guys now that it doesn't always help to go the day before. It used to be the mentality was you go the day before, you get rested and ready to go. We found with our guys is as long as the trip isn't too long, you know, a Camrose trip and even the Calgary trip, if you go the day of and you get the guys into the hotel and they're able to relax there and get a good meal in, they're ready to go. You know, the 4 and 5 is going to be a bit of a challenge. I've been on longer trips, but as long as the guys are busy and they manage their downtime, these guys are in great shape. It's more, like you said, mental than physical, but that trip's going to be real important for us, and we're going to need to get points from it.
So looking ahead to the next quarter, who do you see as a team that's going to be a real challenge for you?
Well, I think our schedule in the next quarter is a lot more friendly in the sense of we're going to play some teams that are actually under 500. You know, up to this point in time, we've only played 2 games against teams that are under 500, so we've had a real challenge. And you know, there's another thing, if you compare it to last year, which we try not to, our schedule was really heavy loaded in the month of January and February with the top teams in the league. We've got some of those games, 5, 6, 7 of them out of the way already. So in the month of November, we find that the schedule is probably going to be not easier, but more accustomed to giving us an opportunity to get back in the win column, and so we'll just build on it from there. But a lot of those games are on the road, which is a bit of a challenge. But again, when we get healthy, then the opportunity is there for us to be more successful.
So as you've heard, there aren't a lot of home games coming up in the next couple of months. So if you want to check out the GP Storm, you need to get your tickets. Get them at Revolution Place. Game night experience here is incredible. Lots of games, lots of great prizes thanks to our awesome sponsors. If you want to get in on that action, just check out gpstorm.ca. Like us on Facebook, subscribe to us on YouTube.